Good morning, students. Today we are going to start next chapter 13, that is motion and time. Dear students, look around. What do you see? You see many things like a row of houses, large trees, small plants, people, birds, animals, and many more things which are present in your surroundings. Each house in your locality remains at its allotted place. In the same way, the trees which are present around you, they remain at their own place. Whereas many things like birds, animals, people keep on moving from one place to another. So we can classify all the objects which are present around us into two categories. First category includes those objects which are constant or which do not change their position with time, and such type of objects which do not change their position with time are said to be at rest. The second category includes those objects which change their position with time and they are said to be in motion. So in this way we can say motion is the change in position of an object with time. So this is a define of motion, that is change in position of an object with time. As you have studied in your last class, in your previous class also, that motion can be of different types, like rectilinear motion, which is also called a straight line motion, in which an object moves in a straight line, like motion of a car on a straight road or motion of the soldiers in a parade. Second type of motion is periodic motion, that is in which an object moves to and fro, or we can say back and forth. So such type of motion is called periodic motion, like motion of a pendulum. And third type of motion is circular motion, like when an object is moving in a circle, like motion of the earth around the sun. There is given a table 13.1 in your book, and you have to fill this, and you have to tell the type of motion, like soldiers in a march past show rectilinear motion or straight line motion. Bullock cart moving on a straight road is also an example of straight line motion. Hands of an athlete in a race always show periodic motion. Pedal of a bicycle show circular motion. Motion of the earth around the sun is an example of circular motion. Next one is motion of the earth, motion of a swing. If the swing is seesaw, that is periodic motion, and if the swing is merry-go-round, that is circular motion. So you can feel any type of motion here. Next one is motion of a pendulum. A pendulum always show periodic motion. So in this way you can feel this table. On the next page there is given a diagram. You can see the vehicles on a road. In the same way we see many things like moving vehicles on the road, and even many things in the sky. Some move faster while others move slowly. For example, an aeroplane in sky runs faster than a train. Even a train runs faster than a bicycle, and so on. So how we come to know that this vehicle is moving faster than other? We generally say that this vehicle is having the higher speed and that vehicle is having the low speed. So according to the speed we come to know that this vehicle will move ahead and the second one will remain behind. So speed is used to calculate to calculate how far a vehicle will be than the other. So to know how fast an object is moving, we generally come to know distance traveled by the object and time taken by the object, and by calculating the distance traveled and time taken we can calculate the speed of an object. Now what is speed? The distance covered by an object in a unit time is called the speed of the object. It means when we divide distance by time we can calculate the speed of the object. For example, if a car covers a distance of 100 km in 1 hour and a bus covers a distance of 50 km in 1 hour, it means because car is covering more distance in the same time as compared to bus, so we will say car is having higher speed than the bus. Since the speed of most objects are not constant, the speed is the average speed. So if we want to calculate the speed, we will divide total distance by total time taken. Now there are two types of motion, like uniform motion and non-uniform motion. If the speed of the object is constant, it means If the object covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, that is called uniform motion. And if the object covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time, or in other words we can say if the speed of an object keeps on changing, that is called non-uniform motion. So we can say we can divide the motion into two categories, uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Now as we know, to calculate the speed we have to calculate the time also, because we have to divide the distance by the time. Now how we measure the time? Time is measured by using clocks or watches. Nowadays we are having clocks or watches with the help of which we can calculate the time, and these clocks and watches make use of periodic motion. According to that we measure the time. Now what are the basic units of time and speed? The basic unit of time, as we know, is second, and the basic unit of speed is meter per second, because the SI unit of distance is meter and SI unit of time is second. So the SI unit of speed or basic unit of speed will be meter per second. Nowadays we measure the time with the help of certain devices like clocks and watches, but in ancient time these were the measuring devices like water clock, sundial and sand clock. These were ancient type of watches, you can say. Now what were these? First one, as you can see in the diagram, this is sundial. The sundial was designed based on the principle of shadow formation due to sunlight, which varies with the position of the sun in the sky. Maharaja Jai Singh II of Jaipur initiated the construction of some sundials a few hundred years ago to measure time, and one of them is in Jaipur and another one is in Jantar Mantar in Delhi. So such type of sundial you can see in Jaipur and Delhi. The main drawback of this sundial is the fact that they can be used only in the presence of sunlight and not at night or on a cloudy or rainy day. So second type of ancient device which was used for measuring the time was water clock. A water clock is a time keeping device that works on the principle of inward or outward regulated flow of water. In the inward regulated flow method, a bowl marked with lines is filled with water. The flow of water is regulated and the lines are marked to track the flow of water that indicate the time. So according to the lines which are measured here, they give the time. And third one was the sand clock, also known as the hourglass. This clock is made of two rounded glass bulbs placed one above the other that are connected by a narrow glass tube, as you can see in the diagram. The upper bulb contains sand that flows to the lower bulb within a fixed interval of time. When the entire sand gets filled in the lower bulb, the clock is inverted to allow the sand to flow again. So according to the flow of sand, the ancient people came to know about the time, what was the time at that moment. So these were the ancient type of clocks which were used by the ancient people, and these are the modern types of clocks and watches which we use nowadays to measure the time. Now next one is simple pendulum. What is a simple pendulum? A simple pendulum has a small metallic bob, or we can say a small metallic ball suspended from a stand by a thread. If the bob is taken to one side and released, it moves to and fro. This to and fro motion of a simple pendulum is called oscillatory motion or vibratory motion, or it is also called periodic motion. Now what is one oscillation or what is oscillation or one vibration? When the bob moves from the mean position O to A and to B and back to O, it is called one oscillation. In other words, we can say when the bob means this metallic ball which is shown in black color, moves from one extreme position A to the other extreme position B and back to A, that is called a complete one oscillation or vibration. Now what is time period? The time taken by the pendulum to complete one oscillation is called its time period. So we can say the time which is taken by a simple pendulum to complete one oscillation is called its time period. Now there is given an activity to measure the time period of a simple pendulum. We have to set up a simple pendulum with a thread of length about 1 meter. Now move the bob to one side and release the bob. Then we will calculate the time taken to complete 20 oscillations using a stopwatch or stop clock, and we will record our observations in the table. How we calculate the time period? Suppose 40 seconds are taken by the simple pendulum to complete 20 oscillations. So we will divide the total time by number of oscillations, that is 40 by 20. So according to that it will come 2 seconds. So 2 seconds is the time period taken by the simple pendulum. Dear students, do you know there is an interesting story about the discovery of the time period of a given pendulum. From this activity we come to know that every simple pendulum has a constant time period, and there is an interesting story about the discovery of this constant time period of a given pendulum. You might have heard the name of famous scientist Galileo Galilei. It is said that once Galileo was sitting in a church and he noticed that a lamp was suspended from the ceiling with a chain was moving slowly from one side to the other. He was surprised to find that his pulse beat the same number of times during the interval in which the lamp completed one oscillation. And after that, Galileo experimented with various pendulums to verify his observation, and he found that a single pendulum every time has a constant time period. So after the discovery of this simple pendulum, clocks were made, because clocks are also based on this type of periodic motion. So in this way simple pendulum always show vibratory motion or oscillatory motion, and every simple pendulum has a constant time period. I hope you have understood these topics. Now read the same content from book. Thank you. Have a nice day.